Hello everybody out there in YouTube land, and welcome to DC Fans United. So today I'm gonna be taking a look at Raven, Daughter of Darkness number 2. So I reviewed Raven, Daughter of Darkness number 1, so if you missed that review you can check it out with a link in the description box. So this issue is written by Marv Wolfman. So to me, and I imagine a lot of other folks, the main selling point, or at least one of the main selling points of this book, is that Marv Wolfman is the writer. So he and George Perez actually created the character Raven. So personally, and I imagine a lot of folks feel the same way, I always think it's really good to have the creator, if at all possible, writing the books. So when it's the creator's own character, I often feel that they understand their own character better than anyone else will. And with all these legacy characters, generally we have to have, just because so much time has gone by, someone other than the creator on the books, so when we can, it's always really nice. So the artist on this is Pop Man. Laverne Kindersky is the colorist. Seda Temfonte is the letterer. Yannick Paquet and Nathan Fairburn did the cover. So Bill Sienkiewicz did the variant cover, which I actually couldn't find, and yeah, that's it for this. So we'll go ahead and check out the main cover. I think it's pretty good. It's nothing, yeah, I think it's pretty good. I mean, you see Trigon there and Raven, so it's pretty good. It's just, to me, it's not really that exciting of a cover. I definitely see what they're going for, but I think maybe it would have been cooler if they'd shown something more pertaining to this particular story, although it fits well enough. So we'll go ahead and start off on the first page. So this is a mini-series. It's only 12 issues, and they seem to be well aware of that. Doomsday Clock is also only 12 issues, but unlike Doomsday Clock, this doesn't jump around nearly so much. So we pick up right where we left off at the end of the last issue. Here's this character named Azure. So she doesn't have any facial features other than eyes, she's essentially attacking Raven. She kind of came upon her at the very end of the last issue, and she has a variety of powers. Her main power is illusions, so then we do see Trigon in this as an illusion, so him being on the cover kind of makes sense in that regard. So she tries to, well, she kind of succeeds, but Raven overcomes it. In any case, she uses all these illusions of Trigon, and Raven collapses, and when she gets up, Azure is gone. So then Raven teleports away, and I think the art, when she uses her magic, looks pretty cool. Overall, sometimes the art looks a little rushed, like it isn't super detailed, but when Man really focuses, I think he does really good. I think it's just, they don't give the artist enough time sometimes, so sometimes it looks a little rushed, but when he really works on drawing Raven herself, and when she uses magic, it can often look pretty good, in my opinion. So anyways, Raven leaves, and then we find out Azure was still there. She was just invisible. So she has multiple powers. She can turn invisible and use illusions. So then we get into the part of the book, which isn't bad by any means, but it's a little less interesting to me. Just, it's kind of like her home life and her friendships and stuff. So she's 16, so she has all her teenage friends and stuff, but one of her friends' grandmother, who she's been staying with, is dying. So it's kind of interesting. Raven and her friends go and visit her at the hospital, and what I thought was cool about that is Raven, you can see here, she goes into the women's room and teleports to where the sick person is, and she uses what she can to relieve the pain the person's feeling. She says she can't do anything to remove death, but she can help the person feel better. So I thought that was really cool. You know, there's this whole dynamic throughout the book of Raven being torn between dark and light, essentially, you know, good and evil. So we see all these little things that she does throughout that show she's a good person. And they also develop her character more, and I actually really like these scenes. So her and her friends and family, you know, it's just like a regular thing, but they're decorating a Christmas tree, and Raven had such a crazy childhood, like she never done anything like that before, so it's just kind of like wholesome and endearing. So I thought that was pretty cool, actually. Sometimes, and I mean it's a common thing in any form of entertainment to have your action and then you break it up with some more relaxing, calming scenes, and this definitely fit the bill for that. I thought it was a cool little scene, so pretty good. We also see this other guy called Baron Winters, and he's got this cool jaguar with him named Merlin, and they've just been keeping tabs on the situation, so we see him from time to time. And there's a little more story about Raven's mom, and we'll find out in later issues a lot more about Raven's mom. So I thought that was kind of interesting too, but she talks to her aunt about her mom there in that scene. So Raven actually senses something going on in her room, that someone's there, so she goes up to check. And Azure's there, but she turns invisible, so Raven doesn't see her. And I thought there were some cool little details in her room, like she's got a poster of the Flash, and she's got a picture of Damian Wayne, like a poster, but she's been throwing darts at it, so it's pretty funny. You know, little details like that are cool. So overall, I mean, I think it's a pretty good issue. It's definitely worth reading. It's definitely kind of focused more towards readers that are probably Raven's age. Like if you were a teenager, I think you'd really enjoy it. But anyways, there's more Christmas stuff, and Raven's mom's actually outside looking on. At least it appears to be that way. I'm not sure if it's really her or just Azure in disguise. But Azure then, it seems like it's really Azure though, because we see her then walk up to a car and get in. There were little like things that aren't spelled out for you. You kind of have to make assumptions, and not everything that's introduced in this issue is wrapped up in this issue. So Raven had sensed that Azure was there, so she follows the vehicle, and these scenes are kind of cool. So it's going from the calming scenes back to the action scenes. So Raven's following, but then these helicopters see her, and they're shooting at her with lasers, and she's flying around and trying to get away from them. They're shooting at her, and it's pretty good. It goes for a couple pages, and then she flies into one of the helicopters and takes out the pilot and the sniper, which is what they call their gunner, and she takes and teleports them to Belle Reve. So you see how powerful she is in some ways. She could easily be destroying these helicopters, but she's just taking them and sending them to jail and whatnot. So as she's flying over to the other helicopter, it shoots and hits the car that Azure's in. So this is a really dramatic panel where you see her fly out the back. Pretty brutal. So then she's down on the road. The helicopter's still shooting. So Raven flies down, and I thought these panels were really well drawn. Like the detail on Raven actually looks really good when you see her up close. So she's trying to help Azure, but she gets shocked. We don't know why. It's probably like a defense thing Azure has. But then there's this really sad page where Azure dies. So we were only just introduced to this character the last issue. Issue 1 was her first appearance. So she dies here. Presumably she won't be back. Maybe she will. We'll have to see. But so she dies, and Raven's really sad because she can't, as she said earlier, do anything to stop death. And then this next page is really cool. You see a helicopter coming in on her, and she gets really mad. And again, the details, she looks really cool here, and launches and sends out a big raven, but there's too many helicopters, and you see them all shooting her, so she teleports away. What I thought was interesting is where she goes to. So she goes to the facility we saw in the first issue that is kind of a laboratory she was investigating. She ends up seeing Baron Winters there. He was there for some reason too, as a projection. Well, and he says no one's supposed to be able to see that though. It's just like his presence, and Raven's the first one to be able to see him. Again, I think he looks pretty cool with his little jaguar friend. I don't know. That's a cool character. So then Raven finds like some energy, residual emotions, she says. So she finds a hidden chamber in the floor and goes down there. So then we see all the weird experiments, and like they were, you know, trying to create mutants and stuff. That's where Azure came from. And then on the last page, you see one of the weird experiments launches out a tentacle and grabs her. So it says to be continued. So overall, pretty good issue. There were a little bit of things, a few things that were a little cringy, just kind of like the teenagers' dialogue and sometimes Raven's dialogue. But overall, I thought it was pretty good. So yeah, not too bad. It definitely hit all the beats and made me want to read issue 3. It's only a 12-shot miniseries, so I'm going to try and get through all the issues. I think they're on issue 8 was the last one to come out, so look for more of these reviews. If you guys like them, let me know down in the comments. So that's all for now. Be sure and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell for notifications, and as always, thank you for watching and being a part of DC Fans United.
End of line.